Humans have been exploring the red planet located roughly 142 million miles from Earth for decades. After years of staring at Mars through the lens of the telescope and imagining the exciting possibilities that could be lingering on its surface. Since you were a child, you've heard about the blistering dust storms and the lack of liquid water and the geographical features that lead us to believe vast oceans once covered the scoured ground. You've also probably heard a fairy tale or two, detailing life forms called Martians protecting the planet from wayward visitors. Some stories described Martians as secretive yet peaceful humanoids who simply wished to remain undisturbed. Other tales made Martians sound like savages, ferocious creatures better left alone than prodded by the various equipment shuttled to the red planet by astronomers below. Regardless of the legends and lore you've been entertained with regarding Mars and the inhabitants that may or may not exist, one thing is true. The few photos, videos, and pieces of evidence we've gathered over the last few years has prompted our imaginations to run wild, giving us more reason to believe the unbelievable. What could be the most inspiring and intriguing photo of Mars yet was just announced in early May of 2022, leaving us all to once again grapple with the unanswerable question: is there something with intelligence on Mars? Surely not, right? The perfectly cut rectangle from the planet's famous red rock might suggest otherwise. Let's investigate. On May 7th, 2022, the car-sized rover known as Curiosity captured a distinct photo located near the Greeno pediment on Mars. In the photo, there appears to be a perfectly cut opening shaped like a doorway in the side of a rock structure. In front of the doorway is a slice of rock that is theorized to be the leftovers of the door, or whatever filled the now rectangular hole. A little ways in front of both the doorway and the shredded rock is another piece of Mars crust. However, its relation to the opening is also undetermined. To get a better glance at the bizarre feature, astronomers collected the entire series of photos by Curiosity in that vicinity to build a panorama photograph, as if taken with a wide-angle camera. Take a look. This image provides a very intriguing angle to this supposed doorway. If you look around the image, you won't find a single geographic feature that even closely resembles the cut-out door. The problem with both images comes from a lack of proper context. In neither image are we given the scale of the doorway and its surrounding terrain. Thus, astronomers aren't 100% sure if the door is 2 to 3 meters tall or 2 to 3 inches tall. The size could make all the difference in the doorway's origins. Of course, the second image of the Martian doorway hit the public consciousness. Everyone figured it was of an extraterrestrial design and that someone, or something, beat the Americans to the red planet. However, astronomers and experts alike were quick to hush the frantic assumptions regarding the doorway and its undetermined origin story. Many people across all corners of the internet have since come to their senses and explained that the bizarre doorway discovered by Curiosity is nothing more than the result of a shear fracture. Shear fractures are clean breaks of rock caused by the strain of an earthquake, or in this case, a Marsquake. The force of the ground's tremors sends a shockwave through the crust and sometimes up into rock formations until part of the rock breaks off. Sometimes shear fractures result in smooth surface breaks like the one on Mars, and aren't just common breaks in the ground like you see with other shear fractures on Earth. It should also be noted that to the right of the doorway is a much larger crack in the red rock that extends from its crown to the downslope, a major break that would make sense next to the hole itself. In fact, an event that could cause both scenarios did occur on Mars in the days prior to Curiosity's find. On May 4th, 2022, the biggest quake ever recorded on an object away from Earth was documented by NASA on Mars. Had it taken place on our own planet, it would have registered a magnitude 5 on the Richter scale. With a quake of that strength, it's easy to imagine the rocks around the impact area giving way to the force and breaking off in a sudden manner. However, besides the crack to the left of the doorway, there really isn't much else in the vicinity that appears to be affected by the quake. With millions upon millions of years of Mars quakes disturbing the red planet's crust, it's hard to believe there wouldn't be more shear fractures like this in the first place. Of course, just because one Mars quake might have created this specific fracture doesn't mean all the others before it did the same. There are plenty of regions on Mars we haven't fully documented on a photographic level, meaning similar shear fractures could exist. Until those are pointed out, however, it's in the realm of possibility this doorway has existed prior to the Grand Mars quake of May 4th, and its origins are up for argument across both scientific and amateur communities. Cracks in the sides of rock facades don't happen on their own, so if a fissure or Marsquake isn't to blame, something or even someone would have to be at fault. More sensible reactions from this line of thinking place other humans unbeknownst to NASA on Mars at some point before Curiosity's photograph on May 7th. Why these mysterious human visitors of the red planet would carve out a door and leave it be is an impossible question to answer. Only they would know the truth. Could it be a prank, a secret project, an accident? We'll probably never know for sure, but the odds are highly unlikely that this is true. Travelling to Mars in and of itself is an impossible feat if you don't have the money or the means, and very few people on Earth do. So if it wasn't human, could it be of alien origin? There is no undeniable proof of life existing somewhere away from Earth, but if it did, obviously they would have gone undetected thus far, and could be leaving clues or signs of existence across the cosmos. Would the doorway atop Mars be one of them? It's a stretch of the imagination and highly unlikely, but still intriguing to consider. Other far-out theories regarding the doorway involve a staircase to the centre of Mars that leads to an underground community of Martians, a shaft to a water mine below the planet's crust, and the beginning of a tunnel to parallel worlds. All such theories are based on pure fiction and fantasy, and have no merit in the astrophysical community, but at least speak to the creativity of your casual internet user. The last and most likely scenario outside of the Marsquake theory is that the doorway is billions of years old and the product of erosion by the water that once covered Mars in deep blue oceans back during the planet's ancient history. The doorway was captured near the Greenough Pediment, located in the Gale crater on Mars's surface. Gale crater has long been suggested to be a dried lake due to its various geological features, hinting at a large body of water once existing in its place. Had the oceans in this area been full of violent currents and harsh conditions in general, those combined with the basic weathering effects of H2O could feasibly create a space like the doorway. It would take a perfect sequence of circumstances for it to happen, but then again the Big Bang creating life as we know it relied on much more drastically microscopic probabilities for all of this to exist anyway. So when it comes to the cosmos, anything is possible. What do you think caused the doorway on Mars to appear? Let us know your theories, and be sure to subscribe, as we'll be sure to provide plenty of updates to this absolutely brilliant discovery in the coming months.